From Christian Bale's tough, intimidating, and iconic Batman portrayal to arguably one of the strangest casting choices for Batman ever, Ben Affleck has been both loved and hated for his portrayal of the character. But could he finally be hanging up the towel for good after The Flash? Well, a recent post by Ezra Miller on Instagram has sparked a lot of speculation among fans, particularly because Ezra wore a t-shirt with the words "The Bat is dead" written on it. Now, this could mean a lot of things. As expected, many fans are taking it as a sign that Ben Affleck's time as Batman has come to an end.
It's Kryptonian. Only kryptonite weapons can kill it. I got one round left. The spear. For the spear. It's pure kryptonite. It's back in Gotham. If I can penetrate the skin, the spear will kill it.
But before we jump to conclusions, let's take a step back and see what we know for sure. Back in 2017, Ben Affleck announced that he'd be stepping down from the role of Batman, and that he won't be returning for Matt Reeves' The Batman. But in 2019, it was announced that he would reprise his role as Batman in The Flash movie, which is set to release in June 2023. So what does this all mean? Is Ben Affleck still retiring from the role of Batman after The Flash? Well, I don't have a definitive answer yet, but it's worth noting that Affleck has been open about his struggles with alcohol addiction and how it's affected his work in the past. So it's possible that he may want to take a break from the role after The Flash to focus on his health and personal life, which is probably a good thing, because let's be honest, he wasn't particularly great as Batman. Now, don't get me wrong, Ben Affleck is one of the best actors out there, but when it comes to playing the Caped Crusader, he comes up a little short. Hold up, Ben Affleck fanboys, hear me out. Let's talk about the suit for starters. It was bulky, awkward, and just not the best. I'm sorry, but if you have to be Batman, you need to have a suit that not only looks good, but also allows you to move around easily. I mean, Christian Bale's suit wasn't as bulky, was it? That's one of the things that made him a great Batman. And don't even get me started on the voice. I personally can't understand half the things he says. It was like he was trying to put on his best Christian Bale impression. Sorry, Ben, but the only person who can pull off that voice is Bale himself. But it's not just the suit and the voice that's the problem.
I can keep a secret, okay? What do you want? Consider yourself under my protection. If you deliver.
Ben Affleck just didn't have the presence that Batman commands. You see, Batman's supposed to be dark and intimidating. Sure, Ben got absolutely jacked for Batman, but it's kind of like James Bond. You need to have a certain kind of personality to be intimidating. I mean, when was the last time James Bond was ever jacked? Similarly, Batman is supposed to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies. But when Affleck played the character, he just came across as bored and like he just wasn't into being the Caped Crusader. And let's not forget about his fighting skills. Again, yes, he looked tough, but he didn't really have any impressive fight scenes. Like, at all. The dialogues were cool, but it was missing a little something. So, while Ben Affleck is in fact a great actor,
I love this movie. It's really about stuff that's really close to my heart. It's about how the heroic work of single moms and how important dads are, and about how, like, whatever the kind of constellation of your family is and how flawed you are, sort of, you have to work through this stuff. And
he just wasn't the right fit for Batman. That being said, it would be interesting to see whether or not Warner Brothers leaves the door open for him, especially since they're planning a live-action Batman Beyond movie. Now, there's actually been some rumors that Ben Affleck could reprise his role in Batman Beyond. If you're not familiar with Batman Beyond, let me give you a quick rundown. It's a really cool animated series that takes place in the future, where an older Bruce Wayne mentors a new Batman named Terry McGinnis. The show has a really unique aesthetic and a great storyline, and fans have been hoping for a live-action adaptation for years. But the big question is, how would Ben Affleck fit into this unique storyline?
I thought, this is a brilliant way to do this, and I really know how to hook into this. And I said, okay, I want to do it. And the people from the studio were like, we're thrilled, we're so excited, and da-da-da, and we arranged it. And I said, listen, we want to talk to you because people go through this process and it's a little bit, it can be trying. I said, what do you mean?
Well, if he keeps on being the same old Batman as he has been all these years, I don't think it's going to be worth a watch. I'll tell you that much. Of course, we have to remember that all of this is just speculation at this point. We don't know for sure if Ben Affleck is coming back, and we definitely don't know if a Batman Beyond movie is in the works. But it's fun to think about, right? Now, coming back to Ben Affleck's role in The Flash, could his role in the new Flash movie be just a cameo?
The spirit of that, as a guy who's vulnerable, as a guy who's aches when he gets up in the morning, as a guy who like feels a lot of psychological sort of torment, I thought was a really interesting approach to playing a hero, and that was
Well, you don't need me to tell you that Ben Affleck has had a bit of a roller coaster ride when it comes to the Batman role. You see, after being introduced in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, he went on to play the Caped Crusader in Justice League, only to step away from the role due to personal reasons. But in 2020, it was announced that he'd be returning for the Flash movie. Now you may be wondering if this is a permanent return, or just a one-time cameo. Well, from what I know, it seems like Affleck's return as Batman in the Flash movie may be his swan song for the role. According to an article from The Direct, Affleck's return was thanks to director Andy Muschietti's pitch. It was thanks to this pitch which convinced Affleck to give the role one more go. But it's also reported that his return is not an indication of him taking up the mantle permanently. So, what does this mean for the future of the DCEU's Batman? Well, there has been no official announcement regarding who will take over the role, but there have been rumors circulating that Michael Keaton may be returning to the franchise as an older version of Bruce Wayne. This has led some fans to speculate that the DCEU may be setting up a multiverse, with multiple versions of Batman coexisting in different universes. But here's the catch. Ben Affleck said that he's done with playing Batman, and that he hopes they maintain the integrity of what we did. Now let's be real. Even though Ben Affleck wasn't the best Batman, there are lots of fans out there who have come to appreciate his take on the Caped Crusader. But then there are many others who didn't like his portrayal of the character. Some people on Twitter even launched a petition to have him dropped from the role. Needless to say, even though Ben isn't the best Batman, he's had a tough ride with the DCEU ever since he signed up. But I guess his suffering is about to end very soon, because according to rumors, the Flash movie is going to have multiple versions of Batman, including the fan favorite Michael Keaton version from 1989. So it's possible that Ben Affleck's Batman could be dropped out of the franchise without any second thoughts. And of course, there are plenty of other characters in the DC universe that the movies could focus on instead. But for now, it looks like we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Whether Ben Affleck's Batman will retire after The Flash or not, it's definitely been a wild ride watching him don the cowl over the past few years. But whether you like to admit it or not, it might be time for a new actor to take on the role of Batman, because DC Studios is notorious for recasting their character. Well, that's it from me about Ben Affleck retiring from his role as Batman.